Hello again, welcome back to Procurement and Supply Chain Live. I'm Marcus Law and I'm joined again by James Butcher. James, if our viewers haven't caught you yet, why don't you just introduce yourself for us?
Will do. Thank you very much. So yes, I'm James Butcher. I'm CEO at Supply Pilot. We help large brands and manufacturers collaborate with their suppliers to drive positive, sustainable change.
So you were on featuring yesterday twice on a fireside chat and then later a talk, Sustainability Doesn't Have to Cost. If you could just sum that up for us.
Yeah, so the whole premise is that we're clearly facing continued disruption. Nearly 2.5 years now of the long tail of COVID, the war in Ukraine, now economic issues on top of all sorts of climate disasters. And against that backdrop, everyone's worried about cost. And sadly, that means that sustainability initiatives are being pushed back in different ways, deprioritized. And I think I really wanted to challenge the mantra that these sustainability initiatives cost and can't be afforded. So firstly, we can't afford to take that view because what all these disruptions mean is that we've actually got more challenges with availability of materials, resources than ever before. So I talked to the principles of resource efficiency. And ultimately, if you can be eliminating waste, whether it be waste time, waste materials, waste processes, inevitably they are more sustainable, but they're also de-risking our business and removing unnecessary costs. We need to overcome the inertia and the fear of this is cost, particularly with all the talk of a cost of living crisis, saying actually, if I can simplify my packaging, I shared a simple example of where there were packs that are oversized unnecessarily, and you could reduce packaging by 20% by just making it the right size. And similarly, if you're just taking the plastic window off the front of a pack that we don't need to see anymore. It's really, I think one of the questions at the end was around overcoming this inertia. And my advice was very simple, which is get started. Doing these things in the right way, engaging suppliers to make lots of incremental gains, helps drive the sustainability agenda, but also helps drive the cost agenda. And so, as I say, it's not an either or. We've got to press on.
Absolutely. So, how do you look beyond this attitude of sustainability being a cost to business? How do you get beyond that?
Well, clearly, I think events like this and the chance to be delivering that pragmatic message. If I actually reflect back to the fireside chat, there was talk how everything that's gone on has accelerated investment in technology, which has benefited companies like Supply Pilot. But sometimes there's almost an over-reliance and a dash for technology or a dash for a single solution. So I think we've got to vocalize it. We've got to talk about it. And again, it came up through the Q&A session at the end. Brands need to bring customers on the journey with them and talk about what's being done, talk about those positive changes. Because if someone makes some simple changes, talks about it, gets the kudos, gets the sales ultimately from that success, you then get more suppliers going, I want a bit of that, therefore I'll come to it. So it's about lots of these little steps rather than looking for one big silver bullet that's going to be transformative and solve the whole problem. So it's taking those individual steps.
It's looking beyond that traditional ESG thinking as a side matter, really integrating it into your business.
Absolutely. It's there's what we're finding is there's huge inertia. Once you get below the top tier, the larger manufacturers, there's a real inertia with knowing where to start. So something we launched here at Procurement Supply Chain Live is our new Kickstart assessment, which is designed to very simply outreach to suppliers, understand where they are, understand your risks, and importantly, understand the opportunities, and to get that conversation going. So it's that little nudge tactic. It's a very simple way of reach out, get started. You have to meet suppliers where they are in order to then help them go forward. So I would say it's different from traditional ESG thinking. I think it's complementary to and saying we do need those big transformative projects and we do need those bold commitments. But at the same time, we need to take those little steps that are going to resonate with our suppliers and our consumers.
When it comes to sustainability, there's a lot of talk about the David Attenborough effect, things like that, Blue Planet, the change in disposable plastics. Who are sustainability role models for you?
So, I mean, I talked to David Attenborough yesterday because I think he's amazing what he's achieved, but I also called out Blue Planet and that effect on plastics as one of those. There's almost a dash in one direction that also caused issues with constraints on other products and materials, this sort of thing. I think an awful lot of what we have to do will lie in circularity and the circular economy. And I'm in awe of what Ellen MacArthur Foundation has done in that. Of again really bringing to life. I know you remember initially it was around ocean plastic when she was circumnavigating the globe, but again that circular thinking that has to become embedded. So yeah, I think the likes of David Attenborough, Ellen MacArthur, those people we can point to. My talk was littered with, because I think if you can relate to individuals like that, it gives you something to pin the narrative on when you're doing this storytelling I refer to of how we go forward.
Absolutely. Just finally for me, for Supply Pilot, where do you see yourselves next 12, 18 months?
Well, I hope that we're seeing more companies join us on this journey, doing these Kickstart assessments, engaging suppliers, moving forward. It's fantastic what some of the largest brands are doing. Again, we've had some fantastic speakers here. Bayer this morning, we're talking about the completely transformed procurement that embedded sustainability at the heart of that. But we need to be everybody, all the way down to SMEs. So I hope we'll be seeing a lot more engagement with a lot more brands.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, absolutely. And thanks, James, for coming on.
Cool.
Pleasure to have you again. And if you missed either of James's chats yesterday, you can catch them on the Brella app, and stay tuned for what we've got left today.